Alright, so this is going to be a bit of a longer, more calm video where I want to explain how I went from 230 to 200 pounds in about a year with fasting. I'm going to do the full breakdown for you guys so you know exactly how you can start this process. You can know exactly what you have to do and kickstart your weight loss journey and use this that is very, very simple, very straightforward, and it's absolutely going to make you lose weight. Okay, so if you guys look at the thumbnail, right? You guys click on this video. You saw the thumbnail. The image on the left. It was me being, fat as fuck, and then me how I am a few weeks ago that I took this other photo. Uh, the first one was taken a year ago, exactly on March 2025. I was the heaviest that I've ever been in my life, 230 pounds. I was really fucking depressed, and little did I know that I was about to be uh, dumped. I was about to be dumped by my girlfriend of 5 years at that moment, and throw me into a little, even bigger hole of depression that I had before, right? I was doing something at the time, and I would call it depression pasta because I was so fucking sad. I completely lost absolute any will to live that I had. So every day I would come back from work, I would cook pasta with olive oil and a can of tuna and a little bit of cheese. Eat that, lay down on the couch, and fall asleep watching Outdoor Boys. That was my routine. I called it that depression pasta. I still call it depression pasta. Sometimes I have it still to keep the edge, to keep myself sharp. And from March 2025, from depression pasta up to today, April 2026, I've been just losing weight, okay? I've made every single mistake that you can imagine with fasting. I got stuck on the same weight for months, and I fixed everything. And ever since this year began, I've been just losing a lot of weight. And I haven't been this weight since before 2022, okay? It's an actually a fantastic accomplishment for myself because after years and years of trying to lose weight, this is the first time that I actually can see some consistent long-term progress in my fitness journey, right? How did I do that? It was something that I like to call hybrid fasting, okay? Don't worry, I'm not going to link this to any school courses yet. They will come, but not right now. So hybrid fasting, all right? This is what I did. On the weekdays, I would do something called OMAD, one meal a day, right? I think most of you guys might know that, what it is, how it works. So you basically have one meal a day. In my case, it's dinner. I still do it. Up to this day, I only have dinner. And my dinner basically consists in either homemade pizzas with tuna, call me weird if you want, I don't care, or pasta. And I have like 3 or 4 variations. And now, very, very recently, I added naan bread with ground beef. That's been my third variation of meal. But for a fucking full year, I would eat either pasta or pizza every single fucking day, right? In big quantities because I love food. I would eat until I get full, and that's it. I still lose weight. Why? Because of the fasting. On the weekends, I would do more chill days. That's why I call it hybrid, because you're not go, 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 go all the time. You need to have the seventh day of Sabbath. You know what I mean? God created the world in 6 days, on the seventh, He rest. You have on the Jungian archetypes, you have the magician and the warrior and the lover, and you can imagine that they both are on the same scale. The lover is the complete rest and just rejoicing on the things, on the pleasures of the world. The warrior is just focused on the mission, suicidal, let's get it. All right, full discipline mode. You have to transition between those two of them. If you're too much too disciplined, if you're like one of those David Goggin types, or that try to be David Goggins, so you're too much of a warrior, and that's gonna harden you up. You're gonna become like hard bread, like that bread that's like day old bread that was outside, and you can't even bite that shit because it's so fucking hard. But if you are too much on the other side, you become too soft and you become incapable. You become a hedonist. You become incapable of doing anything of significance in this world, because this world, man, shit is rough. Okay, you have to have that grindy discipline, going into the trenches kind of mindset sometimes. So you have to mix it. You have to, if you're just a lover, you become a drunk. If you're just a warrior, you become a hardened piece of bread. So you need to join the two of them. You need to have the bread and the wine. You see what I did there? All right, boys. Christ is king. Um, so on the weekends, I would have some more chill days. I would have usually breakfast because I love having breakfast. Eggs, bagel, cheese, good shit. Maybe on the afternoon, I'll have a coffee, one of those nice little gay coffees, like a matcha latte or something, because I love that shit. Go and pay. I like that. I like to pay the overpriced price for that shit. You know what I mean? Go to a coffee shop and kind of be a performative male, but without actually performing, because no one is actually paying attention to you. Little quick tangent. I don't like that term because it implies that you're performing to an audience. And when you actually think about it, no one's actually looking at you. No one's paying attention to you. You're performing to no one. So I don't think most people are performative because most people don't have an audience watching them. Can't be performative if there's no one watching. You're performing to no one. I digress. And by doing what I call this hybrid fasting, I was able to lose all this weight over the course of a year. Now, here's exactly the step-by-step that you can follow to do the same thing yourself. I failed before every single time I tried to lose weight, as I mentioned in the video before, for two simple reasons. First of one is that I was relying too much on long term. I would put myself those goals at the beginning of the year. It's like, oh, this year I want to lose X amount of weight. The problem with that is that I would then start trusting my future self too much. And I would be like, if I started failing and I started fucking it up at the beginning of the year, I'd be like, you know what, that's fine because I have still until the end of the year to lose this weight. So I was putting too much reliance and too much faith in something that was not guaranteed to me. In something that I was not sure I would have, which was the future. Even now, man, even today, right now, we're having this conversation here, we're having this video, I'm talking to you right now, having this Diet Coke. By the end of this recording, I might not be here. I might be dead. I might have a heart attack here. You know what I mean? This building can collapse right now. You can collapse right now. We never know. We don't have a guarantee of the future. We only have right now. And that doesn't mean do whatever the fuck you want because there's no consequences. That means do not rely on doing anything that's not today, right? Do not rely on the long term to achieve your goals. You have to do what is right today. You do what is right today, and then tomorrow, you just act. If tomorrow comes, you thank God, and you do the same thing that you did today again. You focus on today because that's all you can control, right? You get the Hail Mary prayer. At the end of the prayer, it says, now, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Those are the two times that matters. The hour of my death and right now. Anything else is a fantasy. Everything else is out of my control. Second reason is because of a materialistic worldview. That means, what did that mean? That means that I could not imagine myself refraining from pleasures because I thought that the whole point of life was just to indulge in the pleasures. And even if I didn't consciously think that, because when you say it out loud, it sounds really fucking stupid. Even if I didn't think about that, that's how I was acting. For example, I think that a lot of porn addiction, a lot of problems with lust, is simply because you cannot imagine living your day-to-day without indulging in pleasure because you internally think that pleasure is the whole point of the whole thing and that you're living to acquire pleasure. All of us were kind of raised in this world that we're raised in today, and we have those kind of ideas ingrained in us, and it's very important that we try to fight those things. Same thing for food. Like, oh, I'm not going to fast. I'm not going to stay hungry here when I could be eating. What that says is the point of my existence is to indulge in food. Is to get pleasure from it. And if you think about that shit for more than 5 minutes, you know how much of a bullshit that is, right? So, tactically speaking, the first thing you could do, and the first thing that I did, is that I started cutting the meals that I didn't like. So I used to take ground beef and rice every day to work in a little container on the bus in my backpack every single fucking day, no matter the weather, eating the same thing, and I absolutely fucking hated it because 30 minutes later I was hungry again. What did I do? I stopped eating lunch. It's really freaking simple. Oh, I'm gonna stop eating lunch and I'm just gonna have a coffee with cream at work. That was my idea. And it worked like a charm for a little bit until then I started going. That's how I started this whole fasting thing, this whole one meal a day. The second thing you want to do is that you want to start weighting yourself every day. Oh, but isn't that too much? Aren't I going to become paranoid? What if I get if I have a weight that I don't like in the morning or in the afternoon, I get a bad mood and it ruins my day. It's like, fuck, first of all, grow up, right? Don't let yourself be so damn affected by weight on the scale because that shit's going to vary. It is important that you see how much that shit's going to vary. Okay? So start weighing yourself every day because you're not going to be counting calories. You're not going to be doing any of this gay shit of getting the pounds of the grams of the body weights of the proteins for the centimeters of your dick. You're not going to be doing any of that. So what you're going to do is you're going to weight yourself every day. If that fucking scale is going down, if the number's going down, that means you're doing something right. If the number's going up, that means you're doing something wrong. If the number's staying the same, you probably have some things to adjust. It's really that simple, and it shouldn't be harder than that. People just overcomplicate it because they want to sell you a coaching program. And the idea of sitting down with someone and coaching them on how to lose weight fucking terrifies me to the core. We can sit down and we can talk about random, you know, very abstract concepts and philosophies and whatever for hours. I'm going to be happy to do that. Coaching? Jesus Christ, get this away from me, okay? Next point is to find very good, reliable meals. That means things that you enjoy eating, that you can keep eating every day, because this is what's going to happen. The moment you start fasting, everything you eat will taste fucking amazing. So you just have to find a few meals that you can make easily for cheap and that you can keep rotating for a very long time. When you find those meals, you just grab them with both your hands and you don't fucking let them go. You just keep doing them over and over and over and over and over again. When you start getting a little too tired, you add a little bit more variety in it. Right? It's really, really simple, man. Don't overcomplicate it again. Have protein with your meals, right? Try to have them balanced. Don't stress about the protein. Don't completely forget about it. It's still important for you, right? My feelings about tracking protein doesn't erase the benefits of eating it. So, but you probably eat less. You probably need less than you think you do. So, have some protein with your meal, but don't stress too much about it. Next thing is to be aware of the traps. I talked about this in other videos. Your olive oils, your butters, things that are very high in calories for very little amount, okay? Got to be careful for the high calorie density. Be careful with those things. Have an idea of what you're eating. And then, very, very important, is to adjust over time because you will fuck it up. You will make mistakes. You will binge sometimes because you're too hungry. You will make bad choices because you feel too hungry and you have a little bit of a headache because you're not used to fasting yet. So you have to walk towards adjusting things, right? Don't try to make it perfect right now. Adjust it over time, and over time you will become better at it. You will start making better choices. You will dial down all the components of the thing. You're gonna be like, oh, maybe I'm eating too much of this. Maybe I have too much calories in my coffee because I'm using cream. Maybe I should get used to having black coffee instead of having cream. Maybe I should cut breakfast instead of having breakfast and dinner. I'll just have breakfast or just have dinner. So you have to start adjusting things slowly as things progress, and only you can do that. I cannot teach you how to do that. You have to learn that yourself. And it's a skill that is going to be useful in everything that you do all throughout your life, okay? For anything you do, you need the self-perception, the self-consciousness of knowing how things affect you and what you're doing and what you can do better. Now, after you do all of that and you lose all those stuff, which is the stage that I'm currently at, Then we can talk about the other things, right, man? I wanted to say that just because, I don't know, show you guys that I'm not perfect. I'm not posing myself here as a fitness guru. I'm not something that knows everything and has everything figured out. Okay, this is just, I just like to use this channel as a way to share my experience, because fitness and health and this whole thing about self image and training, those are things that are a core thing of my life and a central aspect of my life for years now. So I like to talk about it, right? It's what turned me into a very insecure, fat little boy into a more secure, stable, confident guy, right? And I'm still a long way to go. What I'm working on right now is to polish in the weekends, because I still think my weekends are a little bit sloppy sometimes. Last weekend I had a full tub of Ben and Jerry's. It was glorious, right? It was fantastic. However, it was a bit too much, I have to say. I have to admit that, especially when with everything else that I ate on that weekend. And also eating healthier. Like, you don't have to comment sayings like, "Oh, all those carbs in the pasta, and pasta is processed, and those things are not good for you. On the You have to eat more meats, and you have to eat liver." And I was like, I agree with you, buddy. I know you're right, and I'm working towards eating healthier, right? But here's the thing: we have to go one step at a time. Okay, if you try to go from the very imperfect state that you are right now into absolute perfection of a routine, you're going to break. And I don't want anyone breaking here, boys. I want everyone thriving. And for that, we have to take baby steps and adjust along the way. All right? So, you guys have a blessed week. It was a pleasure sitting here with you all again. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.